Hey everyone, Duke Nuka 3D here with another mask from my collection, and today I have a mask which honestly I'm surprised myself that I've never done a review on as of yet, but I'm doing it now, my United States M17A1 Field Protective Mask. Now the history on this mask everyone should pretty much know, but in case you don't, I'll be saying it for the sake of repetition. The M17A1 was developed sometime around 1966. The clarity on whether or not that date is accurate, I'm not too sure of, but the general consensus is that it was developed in 1966 as an upgrade to the previous ABC M17 Field Protective Mask, with the improvement of adding an M1 drinking device to the mask, a very revolutionary feature at the time. In fact, I'm pretty sure the M17A1 was the first gas mask to feature a drinking device. However, patents dating back to 1918 describe potential drinking devices for gas masks, but that's another story. So the main kicker about the M17A1 was its ability to use the M1 canteen cap for use with drinking while wearing the mask in an NBC environment. Other updates included a shorter voice diaphragm that did not require you to tuck the lip of the C13 voice emitter outlet valve cover over a rim to secure in place. That was a fucking mouthful. And it also incorporated the new and improved M1 resuscitation feature, which I mentioned in my previous AMBU Mark III video, which was basically a long hose and mouthpiece that stuck out of the outlet valve and allowed the user to perform CPR on a victim or a gas casualty needing manual resuscitation. So the M17A1, from its introduction, continued use alongside the ABC M17. The ABC M17 was phased out for training around the later 70s, early 80s, and the A1 continued use into the Gulf War. However, production of the A1 officially ceased around 1983 when it was discovered that the M1 resuscitation feature was known to be somewhat faulty, exposing the victim to copious amounts of chemical agents. However, the AMBU Mark III kind of pretty much does the same thing, but nevertheless, the feature was dropped and M17A1s were produced without the inner resuscitation mouthpiece and secondary valve, resulting in the designation M17A2, but the masks were in no ways different construction-wise and were produced entirely the same as far as I know. The A1 and A2 continued usage with the U.S. military through the Gulf War up to the mid-90s, where it mostly saw service as a training backup reserve mask, and the ABC M17 and its variants were exported to several countries around the world. The A1 and A2 more significantly were issued to Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Thailand, possibly Taiwan also used the A1. A lot of different countries use these, and only a couple countries managed to clone them, like the Czech Republic made a copy of the A1's drinking device with their M10M mask, and I suppose you could sort of count the Polish MP4B as a A1 clone, since it does have a drinking device. However, it is not arranged in a very similar manner. Anyways, that's pretty much it on the history. So let's break down the contents of the kit. This is just your average kit that you'd see. So let's start with the carrier as usual. This is your M15A1 carrier. This is one of the more typical examples you'll see, the ones that are marked for all of the M17 series, Mass Chemical Biological Field M17 series. It is pretty typical. It is made out of a strange mix of what seems like duck canvas for the base and then Cordura nylon for the webbing, which is, again, kind of odd. I should also mention that the M15A1 carriers were the last to use, were the last U.S. gas mask carriers, and probably one of the last pieces of U.S. kit in general to use lift-the-dot snaps, and I absolutely love lift-the-dots. They're probably one of my favorite fasteners, if not my favorite fastener. That's another story again. So anyways, before I ramble on again, it is mostly nylon here. However, mostly duck canvas. However, there are all nylon ones, and it is reinforced with several plastic strips here and there. You have a long shoulder or waist strap, but by this point it's typically a waist strap, and then you have a a thigh strap here, which goes around your inner thigh, goes up through this ring here, and then clips onto the main D-ring. I'm not going to really demonstrate how to do all that. You'll just have to take my word for it. You have an external pocket up here for storing the rolled up waist strap when it is not in use. You have a pocket back here for storing the M25A1 personal decontamination kit, which I have and I will get to in a moment. And unlike the earlier M15 carriers, keep wanting to call these M13 for some reason, the M15A1 does not have a bottom pocket for storing the thigh strap, and it also does not have patches on the back surface for attaching Alice clips, which seemed kind of unnecessary and redundant in general, because that would have been only practical when shoulder carrying this carrier. So, moving on to the inside really quick, there really isn't too much to see in comparison to the M15, excuse me. You still have the same pocket, nothing else inside, just this main pocket for accessories. However, the M15A1 carriers seem to have this strap on the inside with a row of snaps on it. That really doesn't improve much in my opinion. It's a little extra security, but whatever. And this particular example is very well used. And there were very, very late and possibly foreign issue only examples where instead of lift the dots, it would have a single lift the dot in the center and 2 patches of Velcro. And I've even seen examples, mostly in Taiwan, I believe, where it's just a strip of Velcro all across and you have a nylon pull tab like an M40 carrier. But those variants are extremely rare, and if you manage to get your hands on one, good for you. So moving on, here we have the M6A2 chemical biological hood. Nothing really to mention about this. You've all seen these. You've got the neck drawstring with the leather tab. You've got the zipper for ventilation. You got all the Velcro patches and the underarm straps and the openings for the eye lenses, voice emitter, and inlet valves. So I might show off the markings here if I can get to them. Oh, lovely. The markings are all the way inside here for me to have to unfold for you guys. Anyways, here you go. Hood chemical biological mask M6A2. Bunch of stock and not really possibly NSN numbers. I don't know. But bunch of all that crap. So nothing really to see there. Here is the aforementioned M25A1 personal decontamination kit. These saw an extended amount of service with the U.S. military from, I'd have to say maybe like the 70s onwards, possibly even the late 60s, but they were probably experimental at that time. So yeah, it comes with 3 sets of 2 different types of pads. One of them, I think, has ampules inside that you're supposed to crush to release the chemical and activate it and all that. There are 2 different types of these. There is the M25A1. This is like the normal one. The green ones are the normal ones. If you see a black one with blue packets inside, that's a training one. That's what I've been told, and that's what I've learned, so I'm sticking with that. You have the M4 winterization kit for the M17. You've probably seen these as well. They're very common. Just a bit of padding that fits over the inlet valves to prevent frost accumulation. I'm not going to put it on because it's kind of a pain in the butt. So moving on again. This one was made in 1986, according to this label. Got a sheet of M8 chemical detector paper. This, when blotted on any liquid surface, has a dye impregnate in the paper that will change color on the indication of a certain type of chemical agent, and on the front of the booklet it will have a counter, like a color chart of which chemical has been detected. You have an M1 waterproofing bag, pretty common affair, don't really need to go in depth with that either. I have a late issue manual for all of the M17 series masks. The one with my M17A1 is a bit earlier, and the one with my M17A... my ABC M17 has an earlier one. I don't have an M7... This is my M17A1. But yeah, this is a later one. This is dated October 5th, 1987, and it's a bit more beat up than the older one that I have, unfortunately. So, I'm not going to go into detail about that. You've seen M17 manuals. Now you have the M1 lens outserts. I have this one rolled back to show you how they go on. You simply press them into place and roll the skirt back, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I find US outserts to be some of the simplest. They're often imitated but never duplicated. That's what I like to say about these, just because of how simple they are to install and remove. There's no extra fuss with dealing with these, unlike other countries like Russia or the Czech Republic, where their outserts are absolutely horrid to deal with, and just, I'm not going to go into detail about that anyways. So here's the mask before I ramble on any further about other things. So mine is obviously a size medium with the classic US stamp there on the forehead. It uses a 6-point harness. you have, if the camera will pick this up, which I doubt it will, because that's usually the case, you have another serial stamp right there on the left temple, left forehead strap. This particular example was made in 1971 by Mine Safety Appliances. It is very common to see these masks made by MSA. I do not think any other companies made the M17A1 onward. I know that the ABC M17 had a couple different manufacturers early on, such as Daytona Rubber and Firestone, but those examples are rare, and again, it's only the ABC M17. Here you can see the M1 quick disconnect coupling for the drinking system. Nothing to really mention about that. Pardon me. Oh, excuse me, I bumped the camera. I always have to bump a camera in every episode, don't I, guys? Got another stamp on the C13. I believe this is a C13R1, since it has the drinking tube, angle tube assembly. It is dated 68, so the actual cover is a bit earlier than the mask itself, also made by MSA. You have the lever on the front here and the diaphragm. Looking below, you have the vent holes for the outlet valve. You can lift these up and expose the valve itself, if you can see that. I'm probably not going to fasten it down all that well. I will turn around to the harness, show the inside, and then wrap up the video for you guys. So here's your typical C8R1 harness. Nothing really to mention about that, just a basic, plain, simple harness that doesn't need much improving upon. Of course, the M40 did try to improve upon it by adding that donning loop, but that's another story. So flipping it around, if I can, you can see the interior of the mask is pretty typical for your cheek filter affair. Got your oronasal cup, which is fastened to the cheek filter access pouches with these studs. You can see the drinking tube from the inside there. I'm moving it with the lever if the camera is allowing me to see that. And then the thing next to it is the resuscitation mouthpiece, which allows you to use the M1 resuscitation tube for obviously giving CPR to an NBC or just otherwise person needing resuscitation, just your victim. Whatever. Not your victim, the victim you are treating. Anyways, before I confuse myself any further, that's pretty much it. You got the gist of what you needed out of this. Just a mask that I haven't reviewed yet. So I hope you enjoyed. If I missed anything, let me know. Feel free to drop any comments, questions, or concerns down in the comments below, and I will get to them when I can. I'm Duke Nuke 3D. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.